Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm just dropping into another round of Battlefield 6 here, but honestly, my head's still stuck in a different kind of war zone. I spent my Christmas Eve behind a retail counter, and man, I've got some things I need to get off my chest while we watch this gameplay. And I'm sorry about it in advance. It is me playing with a sniper, trying to get the little daily achievements knocked out. First off, let's talk about the weather. It wasn't just raining on the 24th, it was a total washout. One of those days where the sky is just heavy and gray, and every time someone opens the automatic doors, a blast of cold, wet air hits the store. I'm standing there and I'm watching people pull into the parking lot. It's packed. People are literally fighting over spots that are half a mile away from the entrance. And then they have to sprint through the downpour. They're walking into the store soaked. Their coats are heavy. They're dripping on the floors, which, by the way, becomes a total slip hazard nightmare for the staff. And you can just see the misery in their eyes. They aren't here because they want to be. They're here for holiday magic. They're here because they're desperate. I ended my shift that day with 20,000 steps. Now, for context, a normal busy day for me is maybe 8,000 steps. I hit 2.5 times my normal movement. My legs were killing me, my feet were throbbing, and my brain was basically static. But the physical part isn't even what got to me. It was the vibe of the people I was bringing up. I saw people spending maybe like $700, $900, sometimes over $1,000 on toys and clothes. And here's the kicker. They weren't even looking at the price. I'd scan an item, it would be some full price, non-discounted hunk of plastic, and then they'd just stare at the card reader waiting for the tap prompt. They weren't shopping, they were just trying to survive. And they were paying what I call the chaos tax. The chaos tax is the premium you pay for a lack of a system. It's the extra $200 you spend because you didn't have the time or the headspace to find a deal. It's the convenience cost of being last minute. And I realized looking at those people, none of them are winning. Even the ones with the most expensive bags looked like they wanted to cry. And it made me realize, if you find yourself in a retail war zone on Christmas Eve, you've already lost the game of wealth. Why do we do this to ourselves? I was thinking about this while I was bagging some $80 sweater that I know was on sale for $30 3 weeks ago. But why do we treat the holidays like a surprise? The calendar hasn't changed. December 25th has been on the same day for a very long time. But every year, millions of us act like we just found out about it on the 22nd. I think it's because we've been sold the lie that the perfect gift is the only way to show someone we love them. We feel this immense social pressure to perform. And when we feel pressure, our brains go into survival mode. In psychology, they call it decision fatigue. When you've been working all month and you're tired, and the kids are screaming, the news is telling you the economy is a mess, your willpower battery is at 0%. You don't have the energy to compare prices. You don't have the energy to go to a different store. You just grab the most expensive thing on the shelf because your brain thinks, if I spend more, it must be a better gift. Then I can finally go home. The retail industry counts on this. They love the last minute shopper. Why would they put things on sale on the 24th? They have a captive audience of desperate people. You're literally being farmed for your stress. This is the opposite of being safe, average, and automatic. When you're in that state of panic, you aren't safe. You're one impulse buy away from a credit card bill you can't pay in January. You aren't average. You're being an extreme outlier in the worst way possible. And you definitely aren't automatic. You're manual. You're frantic. You're grinding. And man, look at all those people from behind the counter. It made me want to scream. Stop. It's not worth it. So let's talk about the fix. Because I don't want to be the guy ringing you up next year while we're soaked and stressed. I want you to be the guy who's actually enjoying his life. The first part of 2026 is what I'm calling home days. We have to set boundaries in the world. I've decided that for me, starting next year, December 19th through the 25th is a no spend safe zone. If you don't have the gift, the food, or the batteries by the 19th, then we just don't have it. We have to give ourselves permission to stop. The world will try to convince you that you must go back to that one extra thing. Don't do it. The perfect holiday doesn't exist, but a peaceful one does. And peace happens when you stay out of the parking lots. The second part is the sinking fund. I talk about this a lot on the blog, but let's break it down with the math. It's simple, people ignore it. If you start on January 1st and put $10 a week, that's just 2 coffees, into a high yield savings account that you do not touch, you will have $520 by next December. Imagine walking into the holidays with $500 already spent money. That money isn't a bill, it's already gone from your checking account, it's safe, it's waiting. When you go buy your gifts in November, when the sales are actually happening, you aren't looking at your bank balance with a pit in your stomach. You're just using the fund. It turns a crisis into a transaction. That's how you stabilize the patient. That's how you stop the bleeding before the holiday event even starts. There's another candid secret that saved my sanity this year. I call it the neutral buffer. One of the biggest reasons people were in the store on the 24th was the surprise person. You know that one, the cousin who decided to show up last minute, or the neighbor who dropped off a gift and now you feel like a jerk because you don't have one. Here's your 2026 move. Buy 3 high-quality neutral gifts in November. I'm talking about like a heavy, high-end blanket, a really nice coffee sampler, or one of those fancy candles that costs way too much but smells like a forest. Buy 3 of them. Put them in your closet. If someone surprises you, you walk to the closet, grab the gift, and you look like the most put-together person on the planet. You didn't have to drive in the rain. You didn't have to fight for a parking spot. You were prepared. And if no one surprises you, awesome. You have a neutral buffer for yourself in January when the weather is still gray and you want a nice cup of coffee and a blanket. It's about being aggressively average. It's about admitting that we're humans who forget things. We aren't robots. We get tired, so we build a buffer into our lives to account for that. We build armor so that life's little hits don't knock us out of the game. When you do this, when you automate your savings, set your home days, and prep your neutral buffer, you're playing the long game. You're building quiet wealth. Quiet wealth isn't about being a billionaire. It's about the luxury of choice. It's the choice to stay home. It's the choice to be calm. It's the choice to watch the world go crazy and say, I'm good. My system is handled. Now, I want to talk about January for a second, because everyone is doom spending in December. January is when the bill comes due. I've seen it so many times. People have a great Christmas, or at least they think they do, and then January 15th hits. The credit card statement arrives. They see the interest charges. They see the $2,000 balance at 25% interest. And suddenly, that perfect Christmas starts to feel like a nightmare. This is where the financial hangover sets in, and what do people do? They get depressed. They feel hopeless, and they doom spend again to feel better. It's a cycle. We are breaking that cycle for 2026. If you were one of those people in the store this year, look, there's no shame in that. We've all been there. I've been that guy. But let this be the last time. Let that feeling of your wet shoes and your throbbing back and your empty bank account be the never again moment. Use that frustration as fuel. Go into your app tonight. Don't wait for January 1st. Set up that $10 or $20 weekly transfer right now and stabilize the patient. Get your oxygen mask on, because 2026 is going to be a wild year, and the best thing you can have in a wild year is boring, automatic financial system. Look, I'm about to finish up this game, but I just wanted to leave you with this. True wealth isn't the number of boxes under a tree. It's not the brand of clothes you're wearing. It's the peace of mind you have when you lay your head down at night. I stood behind that counter and I saw people who had everything, the expensive cars, the designer bags, and they were miserable. They were shouting at retail workers over gift wrapping. They were letting a parking spot ruin their day. That isn't wealth. That's a prison. Don't live in that prison. Be safe, average, and automatic. Trade the chaos tax for quiet wealth. If you're actually looking to fix this, head over to saf-finance.com. I have a checklist there. It's free, it's simple, and it's the blueprint for a soft life we keep talking about. Hope you all had a good Christmas and got everything that you wanted. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye.